A good housing solution for a family of a young person with learning disability might be some really personalised adaptations made to their house and garden. This often includes things like a wet room, so that a child who really enjoys playing with water can enjoy their bath or shower time and sort of meet their sensory needs around water, but keep the house safe because it's a wet room rather than a normal bathroom. We also hear of examples of people having the sorts of play and sensory equipment they need in the house, either in a sort of small like sensory zone, or one end of a room being sort of transformed for them, or in the garden. So some people have a playhouse or a shed that has a lot of the things that they love in there, and that can be a space just for them. And there are quite a lot of things that come up a lot on our conversations with families that are around the activities that children like to do. So housing can really be tailored to enable them to do those activities whenever they want in the day, rather than having to ask or go to a specific place. So that might be a trampoline, or something like a ball pit even. You can be quite creative in what you can put into a house for a child, and it just gives them a lot more freedom. And if they can do some of those things they enjoy and burn off some energy, it can really benefit the whole family and reduce challenging behaviour that they display.
So I think one of the most recent examples was a family I've been working with, two daughters who are sharing a room, and while that's okay, one of the daughters needs a bit more space, so that they're kind of similar ages, and we have been exploring the extension option, which is obviously takes a bit longer, slightly more expensive, but not as expensive as having one of the daughters looked after somewhere else. So we've just done a quick bit of work of buying like a man cave. It is called a man cave actually. So just that bit of a space in the garden. It's got electricity. They've put a path down, all that kind of stuff, which just means she's got her own space to go to, which just takes loads of the stress out of the rest of the family. This man cave was about £2,000 and cost about the same to get it installed. Those kind of costs, that was just decided quite quickly, and kind of avoided crisis and avoided breakdown. So those kind of things, not always about finding a new house or building a new house or a kind of special option.
I think also looking at solutions, of course, that I think the first sort of default is, how do we keep the family and the child here? So is there something that can be done with this family home? So is there something relatively small, i.e., could we just box in all the heating and cables to keep the child safe and the family safe? So is that one thing? Could we put in sprung floors? Could we provide more insulation so that the neighbours aren't complaining about the child banging? Or could we look at changing the way that rooms are spaced in the house so that the child isn't on the side where the neighbours are, so when they're banging no one gets disturbed by that?
Some families find that the best solution for them to improve their housing situation would be to build an extension on their house, and this is something that people we've spoken to have found really hard to make happen. It's obviously a very expensive solution, but at the same time is a long-term investment in their house and can enable them to stay there a lot longer as a family. What an extension can give a family is a independent area for perhaps an older child or a teenager to have their own space. It might give them a bedroom and a bathroom, and perhaps a small living area where they can be supported by carers in their home. And this can make a real difference because it can really take the pressure off other family members.
Yeah, so there are some examples of some people I worked with in Newcastle a long time ago who rather than look for an extra house for their son, would spend a bit of money doing a garage up into an extension. So, you know, they used to be called granny flats, didn't they? Those kind of approaches, so young people can have their own space, have their own independence, but are still really close to family. And if that's what really works for the young person and the family, that's a really good solution. So rather than, you know, buying a really expensive service from somewhere else, you could spend a much smaller amount of money making something which really works for the young person and the family. So explore those kind of options, as well as always just looking for a service or a void, which is a horrific way to describe it. But I think that's often the trap that people fall into. Well, this person needs their own space, they need to move out. Let's kind of look for the specialist stuff that exists rather than let's explore all of the possibilities.